All right, so you sent us this blog post about plants in malls, and it really got me thinking about like all the times I've just walked right past them, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing what we tune out when we're just going about our day. This blog author, though, he actually noticed these plants enough to identify them.
Right. He even like pointed out the different varieties. I think he saw a Polyscias guilfoylei at the grocery store.
The one with the green, yellow, and white leaves?
Yeah, and then a Polyscias fruticosa at another mall. Yeah. They look totally different.
They do. And that's part of what makes the Polyscias genus so interesting. There's just so much variety in terms of leaf shape and color.
So it's like a whole family of plants.
Exactly. And that probably explains why they're so popular in malls.
Okay, I get the variety part, but like I'm a little skeptical about how much thought really goes into choosing mall plants. Isn't it more about just finding something that can survive the fluorescent lights and, doesn't need to be watered very often?
Well, sure, practicality is a big factor. Malls aren't exactly the ideal environment for most plants. Inconsistent lighting temperature fluctuations from the AC, and, sometimes not a lot of natural sunlight.
Right.
But Polyscias are surprisingly resilient. They can tolerate those less than ideal conditions.
So that's why you see them thriving in those dimly lit corners.
Yeah.
But are they really doing anything for the shoppers?
Now, that's a great question. It gets into the psychology of design. Studies have actually shown that incorporating plants into retail spaces can have a positive impact on shoppers.
Really?
Oh, yeah. People tend to linger longer, they perceive higher product quality, and even report feeling more relaxed.
So they're not just decorative.
Not at all.
Like these plants like secret marketing agents.
Exactly. And that's where the choice of specific Polyscias varieties becomes really interesting. Think about the different moods they can evoke.
Okay.
The Polyscias guilfoylei, for example, with its variegated leaves, it adds a touch of vibrancy and brightness.
Maybe even a sense of excitement.
Right. While something like a Polyscias fruticosa, which has a more delicate and airy look, might create a calming atmosphere.
Encouraging shoppers to like slow down and browse.
Exactly.
Wow, it's like they're using plants to choreograph the whole shopping experience.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about choosing plants that can survive. It's about considering the specific characteristics of each variety and how they can subtly influence the mood and behavior of shoppers.
Okay, I gotta admit, I was wrong to be skeptical. This is way more interesting than I initially thought.
I know, right? It really makes you look at those familiar mall plants in a whole new light.
It does. So now I'm curious to learn more about these other varieties.
Yeah.
What else might we encounter out in the mall wild?
Well, aside from the two mentioned in the blog post, you might come across Polyscias with deeply lobed leaves, ruffled edges, even some in shades of purple or bronze.
Oh,
Some stand upright like small trees. Others have a bushier, cascading habit. It really is a diverse genus.
it sounds like there's a Polyscias for every mood and every corner of the mall.
Exactly. And each one contributes to the overall design aesthetic.
So like creating a sense of elegance in a high-end boutique.
Right, or adding a touch of whimsy to a children's play area.
Or just softening the harsh edges of a food court.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm officially fascinated. Let's dive a little deeper into some of these varieties. I want to know more about like what makes them unique and how they're being used to create these different atmospheres.
Let's start with the Polyscias guilfoylei, since that's the one the blog author spotted in his local grocery store. Now, what makes this particular variety so interesting is its history. It's native to the Pacific Islands and has been cultivated for centuries.
Really?
Yeah, and not just for its beauty, it's also been used in traditional medicine.
Wait, so these mall plants are like ancient healers.
Yeah.
I'm picturing a medicine man grinding up Polyscias leaves in a jungle somewhere.
Well, maybe not quite that dramatic, but there is a long tradition of using various parts of the plant for things like treating skin conditions, digestive issues, even as an anti-inflammatory.
Wow, that's amazing. Like there's this whole hidden layer of cultural significance behind this seemingly ordinary mall plant.
Right.
I'm guessing most shoppers have no idea.
Probably not, but it adds a fascinating dimension to our understanding of these plants. And, it makes me wonder if there's a subconscious connection happening. Like, maybe these plants are subtly influencing us on a deeper level, evoking feelings of well-being that we can't quite explain.
Okay, now that's getting really interesting. So we've got this beautiful, resilient plant with a rich history, maybe even some hidden healing powers. No wonder mall designers love them. But are there any downsides to using Polyscias?
Well, from a design perspective, their versatility can also be a challenge. With so many varieties to choose from, it can be overwhelming to find the right fit for a specific space.
I can see that.
And even though they're generally low maintenance, they still require some care. In a busy mall environment, it can be tough to make sure they're getting the right amount of light and water.
Yeah, I imagine keeping dozens of plants healthy in a mall is a lot different than caring for a single Polyscias on your windowsill.
Oh, absolutely. You have to consider things like foot traffic, air circulation, even the cleaning products used in the mall. All those factors can impact the health of the plants.
Right.
And if they aren't properly maintained, they can quickly become an eyesore.
Instead of an asset.
Exactly.
So there are definitely challenges. But let's get back to the aesthetics for a minute. We talked about the Polyscias guilfoylei creating a sense of vibrancy. But the blog author also mentioned seeing a Polyscias fruticosa, which apparently looks completely different.
Yeah, it does.
So what kind of mood does that one evoke?
The fruticosa is interesting because it has a much finer, more delicate foliage, often with smaller leaves that give it an almost fern-like appearance.
Hmm?
It tends to create a softer, more calming atmosphere.
So less about bold colors and more about creating a sense of tranquility.
Exactly.
You might find it in like a spa or a high-end clothing store, where they want to create a more luxurious, relaxing ambiance. I'm starting to see how each variety brings its own unique personality to the space. It's like they're casting different plants for different roles in the mall.
That's a great way to think about it. And just like with actors, some plants are better suited for certain roles than others. It all comes down to understanding their strengths and how they play with the overall design concept.
Okay, we've explored the world of mall Polyscias from their ancient history to their subtle influence on shopper behavior. But before we wrap up, I have to ask, can I actually grow one of these at home? Is it even possible to recreate that mall magic in my own living room?
That's a great question. And the good news is, yes, Polyscias can make wonderful houseplants.
So they can make great houseplants. I have to admit, I'm already picturing a Polyscias fruticosa in the corner of my living room, maybe with a little reading nook underneath. But honestly, my track record with houseplants isn't great. Are they difficult to care for?
Well, one reason they're so popular in malls is that they're considered relatively low maintenance, even compared to other common houseplants.
Okay, that's encouraging. But low maintenance is a pretty broad term. Like, what do they actually need to thrive? Can I just stick it in a pot and forget about it?
Not quite. Even though they're tough, they do have preferences. They like bright, indirect light, so finding a spot near a window but out of direct sunlight is ideal.
Gotcha. No scorching them on a south-facing windowsill. What about watering? How often do they need a drink?
They don't like to be soggy, so letting the soil dry out a bit between waterings is best. You can even check the moisture level with your finger. If the top inch or so feels dry, it's time to water.
Sounds pretty straightforward. And what about, I don't know, fertilizer, special soil? Do I need to enroll them in plant yoga?
You can definitely fertilize them during the growing season, but it's not essential. And as for soil, just make sure it's well draining. You can even mix in some perlite or sand to improve drainage.
All right, so no need for a complicated plant spa routine.
Hmm.
But what about pests? Are they prone to getting bugs?
Like any houseplant, they can occasionally attract pests, but it's usually nothing a simple insecticidal soap can't handle.
Okay, that's not too bad. So it sounds like Polyscias are a good option for people who, might occasionally forget to water their plants,
Mm-hmm.
but still want to enjoy some greenery in their homes.
Exactly, and that's part of their appeal, I think. They bring a touch of nature indoors without demanding a green thumb.
That's definitely appealing to me. But speaking of nature, this blog post focused on malls, which are obviously artificial environments. But is there a way to connect these plants back to their natural habitat? Can they even survive outdoors?
Oh, remember they originated in tropical climates. In warmer regions, you might actually see them used in outdoor landscaping, where they can grow into larger, more impressive specimens.
Right.
But in most parts of the world, they're best kept as houseplants.
So no Polyscias forests in my backyard, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I guess there's something poetic about bringing a piece of the tropics into our homes, especially during the colder months.
Absolutely. And it reminds us of the interconnectedness of the natural world, how a plant that evolved in a distant land can find a new home in a shopping mall and then eventually end up gracing our living rooms.
Yeah. It's a reminder that even in our built environments, we're still connected to nature in subtle ways.
And that those connections can have a profound impact on our well-being, even if we're not consciously aware of it.
So what does this all mean for our listener?
Hmm.
What should they take away from our deep dive into the world of Polyscias?
Well, I hope they'll never look at a mall plant the same way again. They might start noticing the subtle design choices, the different varieties, and the impact those plants have on their mood and behavior.
I know I will.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at them with a newfound appreciation for their history, their resilience, and their subtle marketing powers.
And maybe, just maybe, they'll be inspired to bring a little piece of that mall magic and a touch of the tropics into their own homes.
It certainly made me rethink my own houseplant strategy. Who knows, maybe I'll even try my hand at growing a Polyscias or two. On that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Polyscias. We'll see you next time on the Deep Dive.